video is for educational purposes only. It is not investment advice. In the mid-90s, I am spending the weekend at my grandparents' house. I'm really excited because we're going to order a pizza, but as soon as that pizza is delivered, my grandfather is furious. He's angry with that pizza. He's staring that pizza down. I can't believe I spent $7 on this. Every bite that I took, I felt guilty. I felt like it was a sin. I didn't understand what was going on because I'm just a little kid, but I know that whatever I'm doing, enjoying this pizza, it's absolutely wrong. Well, 20 years later, I'm an adult and I'm talking with my grandfather, and he explains why he hates pizza so much. And he tells me the story, and it makes a lot of sense why he wanted to kill that pizza when I was a kid. So around the early 1950s, he's operating a restaurant in Hamilton, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati. 1950 is when Hamilton peaks with about 500,000 people. 1953, there's a national recession. Bad news for business, bad news for a restaurant, because when people lose their jobs, they can no longer afford to go out to eat. So you're going to go out of business. So people lose their jobs, their discretionary funds decrease. And one of the first cuts that people make, that families make, is they go out to eat less. You've probably experienced this as well. When you have less money, you have to spend on necessities, the bare essentials. And going out to eat is the first thing that gets cut. So if you're running a restaurant, you've just lost all of your customers. It is bad news. So he's running his restaurant. A guy comes in. The guy's like, man, it's dead in here. Well, of course it's dead in here. It's a recession. I'm going out of business. I'm going bankrupt. But hey, thanks for letting me know. I really appreciate it. He's like, hey, you know what you ought to do? This guy's telling my grandfather, I got an idea. I know how to save your business. Start serving pizza. Pizza is the way of the future. Remember, this is 1953. Serve pizza. That'll save you. This is the future, man. You know what my grandfather's response is? He kicks him out. He kicks the guy out. The guy gives him this advice that, hey, start a pizza place. No one's doing pizza yet. This will work. My grandfather kicks the guy out. He's offended by the guy. My grandfather says, I'm not serving poor people food. Now, it's not because my grandfather hates poor people. Now, to let you know, you may not be aware that pizza, when we're looking at Italian cuisine, pizza is the lowest of the rungs. It's poor people food. Now, again, it's not that my grandfather is against poor people because his restaurant's failing and he's soon going to be a poor person. It's that just like when people lose their job and they lose their discretionary funds, they can't go out to eat. Well, people that lose their jobs are very similar to poor people. They can't afford to go to a restaurant and eat. So, hey, poor people can't afford to go to a restaurant. Why am I going to start a restaurant that serves poor people when they don't go out to eat? Now, the mistake that my grandfather didn't realize is the reason that pizza is low on Italian cuisine and is targeted at low-income individuals and families is because it's very cheap and inexpensive to make pizza. It's dough, it's sauce, it's cheese, you're done. And because the cost to produce pizza is very low, the price to charge for the pizza is very low. And because it's so cheap, guess what? Unemployed, low-income individuals and families can't afford a pizza for the family. They can't afford steak dinners. They can't afford burgers and whatever American cuisine he was trying to sell. They didn't have the money to spend for that, but they did have enough money. They could have afforded a pizza. But he didn't get that. It's poor people food. I'm not going to serve it. That's why he hated pizza so much. Now remember, this is 1953 when he is given this inside information, basically, this golden advice of, hey, no one's serving pizza. This is the way of the future. Start serving pizza. Instead, he kicks the guy out of his restaurant. And my grandfather says to me now, 20 years after yelling about this pizza, it was the biggest mistake he ever made in his life. This is why he hates pizza so much, because it was the biggest missed opportunity. His life could be completely different. I could be sitting here right now, the grandson of a pizza empire. Obviously, I wouldn't be recording these videos. I would probably be in a swimming pool in the Bahamas, relaxing in the sun. Instead, I'm recording videos for you because he missed this great opportunity. He could have been way ahead of the curve. 1960 is when Domino started. This was 1953 when he was given this advice. 1958, he could have been 5 years ahead of Pizza Hut. 6 years ahead of Little Caesars. He had a head start on every single one of them. He could be running a pizza empire. He had the inside information. He was let in on a secret and he ignored it. He blew this giant opportunity and he completely regretted it as an old man. That was his one biggest regret. Now, this is for educational purposes only. This is not investment advice. I just thought I would pass along this story of missing out on a great opportunity. And I hope that myself and you do not miss out on great opportunities either. Again, educational purposes only.